Hey everyone, I'm back today. I'm wearing my super comfy night shirt. Finished my work that pays my salary so that I can pay Blue Cross Blue Shield to not do anything for me except cause me stress and anxiety. But my friend Mike, shout out to Mike, who edits my videos for TikTok, asked me to do a video on this. And so I'm gonna title this "The Things That They Don't Want You to Know" or "What You Didn't Know," because I was talking to him in conversation about some of these things, and he was like, "You need to do a video on this," because I didn't know any of this. So the very first thing right off the bat that you need to know is that health insurers, Blue Cross Blue Shield in particular, is a 501c3 nonprofit. All that means is that at the end of every budget year, their balance sheet has to say zero. So that means you have to spend all your money. So imagine if at the end of every year, this may be a reality for some of you. I know it was a reality for me for a long time. On December 31st of every year, you had to have $0 in the bank. You had to have spent everything you made that year. And so for 501c3s, especially big ones like Blue Cross Blue Shield, but also like if you're in Texas, Baylor is a 501c3 nonprofit. I believe HCA is. They're the ones that do Medical Center of or Medical City. And I don't even want to talk about HCA. They can go right in the Blue Cross Blue Shield shit list. But there are a lot of really big 501c3s out there. And I will tell you how they get to $0 every budget year. There are a couple of big ones. They pay their leadership. In 2016, Blue Cross Blue Shield paid their, at that time, CEO, I think it was Blue Cross Blue Shield Illinois, paid their CEO a $15 million bonus. They have already this year alone, just so far this year, spent, hang on, I gotta throw the commas in here, $13,793,220 on lobbying. Just this year, they have gone to your elected officials and my elected officials. John Cornyn, still want that meeting with you, bro. They have gone to our elected officials and they have paid them with the money that we're spending on our policy premiums. They have paid our elected officials to ensure that accessible healthcare never exists, that affordable healthcare never exists, that quality healthcare never exists. They are paying our elected officials to do that, and they're doing that so they can spend all their money so that at the end of the year they can have a balance sheet that says zero so that they can continue to hold 501c3 nonprofit status. Which, why don't you want to be a for-profit corporation? You could still pay your CEOs just as much. Like, do you think that it makes you look better that you're a 501c3 nonprofit? No, it doesn't make you look better. In fact, it actually makes you look worse. And it makes all 501c3s, including mine and the one that I partner with, look worse. And we are extremely transparent and we don't get paid anything, much less bonuses. And we don't do any lobbying. You make us look bad. Not that you care, because you literally don't care if I have a pulse. But that's one. That's one. Here's another one. And Mike brought this up. He said, so much for the Hippocratic Oath. And I said, well, Blue Cross Blue Shield, they're an organization. They don't take a Hippocratic Oath. Do you think, Edgar down in accounting gives a tiny rat's ass about first do no harm? Actually, the answer to that is yes. He does give a very large rat's ass about first do no harm. It's first do no harm to my bank account, because he's got to make sure he gets his bonus from his 501c3 nonprofit employer next quarter. So he needs to make sure that he didn't pay, he said, don't pay out on these claims, because I got to get my bonus. And if you pay out on these claims, then it's going to show that my numbers are bad. And then also you're going to have spent my bonus and not on me. So it's not in Edgar and accounting's best interest to pay out on a claim. But there are people who did take the real Hippocratic Oath that work for companies like Blue Cross Blue Shield. Blue Cross Blue Shield employs many doctors, and they serve several purposes, but they mostly just look for loopholes and ways to help Edgar down in accounting not pay claims. So I'll give you an experience that I personally had. Let me get some water. Things are getting a little dry. Stay hydrated, folks. Water's all I got. It's free, and I don't have to have a prescription for it, and Blue Cross Blue Shield can't deny me access to it. So that's all I got right now. All right. So about 2 years ago, I was put on a really common medication for irritable bowel syndrome. Sorry if that's TMI. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. If you have it, I'm sorry. It sucks. I know that it sucks. I had it. So I was put on Linzess. Next calendar year comes around. My gastroenterologist, who treats me, has done a colonoscopy, who cut out a 13 millimeter polyp that's actually almost too big to even be called a polyp. So it was really a hyperdysplastic precancerous tumor from the top of my cecum, which is the top of your intestine. It's right where the stomach meets the intestine. He cut that out off my 33-year-old body. But that physician, who knows my medical history, who knows my other diagnoses, who knows my predispositions, who knows all of my issues, he prescribes Linzess. Blue Cross Blue Shield comes back and they're like, oh, that's fantastic, but we're not going to pay for Linzess. First, you're going to try drug A, drug B, and drug C, because we think we know better than you. And it's not that Edgar down in accounting thinks he knows better. Edgar down in accounting knows how much drugs A, B, and C cost, and they're cheaper. Usually, this story has a nice plot twist to it. Drugs A, B, and C are cheaper than what I was prescribed. So he comes back and says, well, she needs to try drugs A, B, and C first because they cost us less. So we're not going to pay for the drug that her physician thinks is best tailored to her. And one important thing to know about me and my medical history is that I actually was hospitalized in one of the nation's top burn units because I had a severe allergic reaction to a prescription drug that is 40% lethal when you contract that syndrome. It's called Stevens-Johnson syndrome. So I have a very specific body reaction to prescription medication. I've had DNA testing done to find out what medications work, what medications don't work, what medications I absolutely cannot take because they could kill me. I've had all this advanced testing done. So my physician has a copy of that report. Of course, he knows that. And so he might be taking that into consideration when he prescribes Linzess. But Blue Cross Blue Shield comes back and they says, no, you're going to take this other one instead. I can't remember what it was. I think it started with an A. Amitiza or something like that. Anyway, it made me miserable. It made things so much worse. It was awful. I told my doctor, I was like, this is not working for me. He said, okay, we're going to try drug B on Blue Cross Blue Shield's list since they know better than we do. We're going to try this drug called Trulance. Blue Cross Blue Shield, that was one of their recommended preferred drugs, probably being subsidized by whoever the manufacturer of Trulance is, because here's the kicker. Trulance costs more than Linzess. So my doctor was prescribing me a cheaper drug, and Blue Cross Blue Shield was saying, no, she needs to take this more expensive drug before we'll prescribe her this cheaper drug, or before we'll pay for. this cheaper prescription drug that you prescribe her that you think is best for her. No, we want to pay for this more expensive drug. So the only like logical, rational reasoning behind that could be that they're being subsidized by the pharmaceutical company that makes the drug, because obviously Blue Cross Blue Shield is not paying out more money. They're only taking in money so that Edgar down in accounting and, you know, I gotta come up with some gross male name. Albert, I don't know. Albert was Queen Victoria's husband. He was kind of cool. We'll just say Frank, because in MASH, Frank was a real douche, and he was a doctor, so it's appropriate. So we'll say Frank Burns, the doctor at Blue Cross Blue Shield, decides that I'm going to take drugs A, B, and C because he's being incentivized by Big Pharma. And he's being incentivized to buy bonuses by his employer, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Frank Burns, comma, MD, did take the Hippocratic Oath. First, do no harm. And so just like I use some of these videos to send messages to Kayla, hey girl, I almost messaged you today, but I'm kind of getting the vibe that you're tired of hearing from me. So I decided not to message you today. But maybe tomorrow might be your day. Get you a little hump day action. I might do it from my psychologist's office. That might make me feel better. Anyway, forget Kayla. Back to Frank Burns over here. Frank Burns took an oath, first do no harm. To those doctors, you're doing great harm. You're absolutely doing great harm. You are taking what you know that a physician knows their patients and their patients' medical records and their patients' histories and all of the complex things that go into medical care. And you're more worried about not doing harm to your bank account than you are about making sure that someone literally lives. There's a lot of people who can't access insulin. You think diabetic people die when they don't have access to insulin? They sure as hell do. Denying people access to insulin, making insulin so crazy that it's completely unaffordable, that people have to go to other countries to get it, that people go without other things in order to get it. That's where healthcare is in this country. It is a billion, probably $1 trillion industry that when you pick it apart, it all boils down to greedy human beings.